Hi, I'm Dr. William Starsiak, and this video is for guys who want to put on more muscle mass. I'm going to be talking about 4 supplements that naturally support the muscle gaining process. This comes from ancient Indian and ancient Chinese medicine, and all of these have been shown through research to actually work. They're safe, they're effective, they're inexpensive. None of them are going to compromise your natural testosterone production. You don't have to do anything after you take them. You don't have to cycle on and off these things. You can stay on them continuously. The first one, this comes from Chinese medicine predominantly, and this is pine pollen. Pine pollen has phytoandrogens in it that create a stimulus for all of the androgen receptors in your body. So we all have testosterone circulating, and that's stimulating our androgen receptors. Pine pollen just creates a little bit more there in the background. It doesn't grab the receptors so tightly that it suppresses your testosterone production. This has been studied. Your testosterone production either stays level or has a slight insignificant increase. But it does increase the downstream signaling that these receptors cause when they're stimulated. So your recovery time is shortened, you have more energy, you have more libido. Awesome, right? This next one is really not very well known in America and Western culture, but it's fantastic, and all bodybuilders, all people trying to put on muscle should know about it. It's called Vidari Khanda. Vidari Khanda is classified in Ayurveda as a thing that makes you big. There's a whole class of these substances, and the name used for them literally translates as makes you big. And how this works is through the hypothalamic, this regulation center inside the brain, pituitary, right, this little kind of ball hanging down. It looks like the uvula, but it's kind of just above in front of the uvula inside the brain. The hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, the HPG axis. And it ends up stimulating the production of the things that cause the testicles to make more testosterone. So it stimulates the production of FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, and LH, luteinizing hormone. And then the testicles, they get bound, their receptors are bound with those stimulating substances, and that tells them to make more testosterone. It also improves fertility. Additionally, it has a phytoestrogenic effect. And I know, there's guys out there gasping, how could you recommend this if it has phytoestrogen? What about, I don't want to be a soy boy. There's this whole fear about phytoestrogen. So first off, like the phytoestrogens in soy, the phytoestrogen effect in Vidari Khanda is nothing to be scared of. It's not going to make you grow breasts. It's not going to make you lactate. It's not going to make you weak and whatever you're scared of. Actually, estrogenic receptor stimulus is part of the anabolic process. Anabolic is building, is growing. And anytime a man has a lot of testosterone, he's going to have a relatively higher amount of estrogen. The estrogen level is always going to be proportionate to the testosterone level because there's an enzyme that we all have that converts testosterone to estrogen. It's in our fat cells mostly. The more testosterone we have, the more estrogen we have. And then that's mediated by how much fat we have. So someone with very little fat and a lot of testosterone will have less estrogen than someone with the same amount of testosterone but more fat, because they'll have more of this aromatase molecule active. So the estrogen level is related to the testosterone level. And it's not a bad thing. It's part of growth. It's part of anabolism. So this phytoestrogen in Vidari Khanda, it actually stimulates synovial fluid production. So it helps with joint pain. And if you're doing a lot of lifting, it's very important to have those joints well lubricated. And it helps with cognitive clarity and just helps with recovery in general. So Vidari Khanda, excellent. Then at the end, I'll give you the dosing for all of these. The next one is very well known. This is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha serves as the shield. It's the protector. Because pregnenolone is this base hormonal pre-structure that's used to build our other hormones. So it builds the stress hormone cortisol, but it also serves as the base for testosterone. So the more cortisol we're making, the less testosterone that we can make. Ashwagandha shifts this balance towards testosterone production over cortisol. It reduces blood cortisol levels by about 30%. So it protects this process that we're creating. We're trying to increase testosterone production to support anabolism. And ashwagandha is protecting that. It's creating our fence around that process so that it doesn't get robbed away by stress. And we're going to find that we can sleep better on this. We stay asleep better. We fall asleep better. We have more energy during the day. We have more libido. It improves sperm parameters as well. So it improves fertility, right? A good side note, if you take testosterone, you decrease your fertility. Right? You have a risk that you can't have kids. The longer you're on it, the higher you go, the more likely you won't be able to have kids the natural way. The same thing is true with these selective androgen receptor modulators. They dramatically drop the production of the sperm. So when we go natural like this, we avoid that. And not only do we avoid that, we go the other direction. We improve fertility, right? Doesn't that seem like the way to go? To improve our own natural cycles rather than to try to unnaturally overdrive and then crash our natural cycles. Right? So this is, if you get that, like that philosophy, that's my philosophy. So if you're into that, you should subscribe. You should check out my other videos. If you're into the other stuff, well, you should probably stop watching this video. Okay, and then the last one is Shilajit. Shilajit is now the fuel for the process, because if we're asking the testicles to be more active, we need to provide the energy that they need. And Shilajit supports the mitochondria, which are the energy powerhouses of the cells. And the testicles in particular have quite a lot of these in there because sperm production, testosterone production is a pretty high energy process. So when we take Shilajit, we support them in making those energy molecules, ATP. And by itself, Shilajit will increase testosterone. So if we combine it with these other things, we're getting this awesome synergy. And we have these other benefits of Shilajit, which are that, well, it helps you absorb anything else you're taking. It acts as a vehicle. It binds with it, and it drives it into the bloodstream. Shilajit can go throughout the whole body. It can pass through the blood-brain barrier. And it even chelates heavy metals and other toxins. Phthalates that we've heard about, these plasticizer components, BPA, it'll grab onto those and then be excreted. And there's studies that show that it also associates with microplastics. So it's quite possible that Shilajit could be our best microplastic chelator. Now, I'm still waiting on the research for that to come out. So if you're watching this and you're a researcher, hey, can you do a study where you look at urinary excretion of microplastics after Shilajit administration? That would be amazing. Okay, so these are the 4. This is the natural stack that you don't have to do any cycling with, you don't have to do any treatment after. It's the whole shebang together. And you should see a rise in your testosterone. So go to any lab test now, check your testosterone before you start these, and then check it afterwards. You should see a good jump up. It's gonna vary from person to person, but it'll be helped if you're also doing heavy weight training. And don't skip leg day, right? The stimulus from the legs and how fast they can gain muscle and strength, that's really big in growing the testosterone level as well. Now the dosing. All right. For all of these, you can do them as powder, or you can do them as tablets, or you can do them as tinctures. I've never seen Shilajit in a tincture though, and that would probably be really, really, really gross. So here's my recommendation. Pine pollen, I think personally, you can get a little better absorption and it be a little more efficient if you take it as a tincture. But if you have to open a bunch of different bottles every day, that's a bit of a hassle. So I'm not like a big bodybuilder, but I am like a massive supplement user over the years, and I've tried a lot of different things. And I do not like unscrewing and screwing a ton of different bottles. So here's what I do. I buy everything I can in powder form, unless it's just absolutely disgusting. Then I get it in tablet or capsule. So I would buy pine pollen in powder form. Go on Amazon, find something organic, find something non-irradiated with cracked open cells. And then I would go to Banyan Botanicals and I would buy the ashwagandha and the Vidari Khanda in like the 2-pound bag. And I would also buy the Shilajit from them, because Shilajit needs to come from a reputable dealer. Otherwise, it can be contaminated with heavy metals. So I would mix the pine pollen, the ashwagandha, and the Vidari Khanda together. what you would do is say, use this ratio: 1 cup of pine pollen to a half cup of ashwagandha and a half cup of Vidari Khanda. So then, if you take 1 teaspoon, you'll have a half teaspoon of pine pollen and a 1/4 teaspoon of ashwagandha and Vidari Khanda. So then you'll just take 2 teaspoons with breakfast and 2 teaspoons with dinner. That would be the ultimate dose. You can start at 1 and try that for a week or 2 just to make sure you're all right with it. But then you can proceed up to 2, and that would put you at 1 teaspoon of pine pollen and a half teaspoon of ashwagandha and a half teaspoon of Vidari Khanda. Perfect dose. And then you buy the tablets of Shilajit, because Shilajit powder is disgusting. Shilajit tar is also disgusting. You know, you can get used to it. Some people may already be used to it. And if you're one of those people, throw it in the comments. Say, hey, I think Shilajit tastes great, right? There's some of you out there. But most people aren't going to like it, so just take it in tablet form. And you take 2 tablets in the morning and in the evening if you're using the Banyan Botanical product. So there you go. That's it. It's that simple. It is important, though, if you have hypothyroidism, to monitor your thyroid levels when you're taking ashwagandha, because it can decrease those. So there you have it. Again, be sure to subscribe, like this video, check out my other ones, and let me know how it goes for you. If you end up checking your testosterone before and after, put it in the comments.